Did you know that faith in God opens roads where there are none? Today, you will see it with your own eyes. This is the story of a man named Nathan, whose faith in God saved an entire village from dying in the middle of the desert. Do you want to discover how this story has transformed the faith of so many people? Stay until the end of the video, and don't forget to subscribe. Long ago, in ancient times, there was a village that was born in the heart of the desert. There, under a relentless sun and with scarce rainfall, every family worked the land with what little they had. Their entire life depended on a single well located at the center of the village, a well that gave them the water of life. Every villager would come with buckets, draw water from that well, and use it to water their crops, quench the thirst of their animals, and keep their homes alive with hope. But among all those villagers lived a man named Nathan, his wife Rebecca, and their child. They did not only cultivate the land, they cultivated something deeper: faith. While the others lived in their own way, Nathan and his family feared God, honored Him, and never stopped thanking Him for every day of life and for every drop of water they collected from that well. What Nathan did not know was that one day his faith would be tested in a way so great that it would not only decide the future of his family, but also the salvation of his entire village. The days went by, and while the village continued with its labor, Nathan never stopped praying. Every night, in his humble home, he gathered with his family. There, each one lifted their voice to God, giving thanks for life, for food, and even for the air they breathed. And after praying with his family, Nathan would go to his secret place outside the village, beneath a majestic tree, green like hope, rising in the middle of the arid desert. There, on his knees, he poured out his heart before God, and there God listened to him. Nathan lifted his face toward the sky and with a trembling voice said, "Eternal Father, God of heaven and earth, here I am before you. I do not come first to ask, but to thank you. Thank you for the air I breathe. Thank you for the water from this well that keeps us alive. Thank you for my wife Rebecca, for my beloved child, for every heartbeat you grant me." Nathan raised his hands and with a steady voice exclaimed, "Great are you, Lord. Majestic and holy is your name. Though I live in the desert, you are my spring. Though the sun burns my shoulders, your presence is fresh shade for my soul. Though my strength is small, you're mighty and powerful." With tears in his eyes, Nathan continued, "Today I lift my hands to exalt you, because there is no other God besides you. You are the creator of the heavens, the one who opens roads where there are none. Everything I am and everything I have, I owe to you." And striking his chest in humility, Nathan pleaded, "But also, Lord, I want to present my village to you. Have mercy on them, even if they do not fear you, even if they do not seek you. Pour out your kindness upon them. Open their eyes so they can see that everything we have comes from you." With a broken voice, Nathan ended his prayer saying, "And above all, Lord, strengthen my faith. Let my trust in your will never fail, even if the well dries up, even if the fields wither. I would rather lose everything than lose my faith in you, because I know you are faithful, and I know you never abandon those who trust you." And there, under that green tree in the middle of the desert, Nathan's voice rose like incense, and the heavens heard his cry. It was in that place that Nathan began to notice something strange. 3 times a year, an imposing elephant crossed the desert, staring at him fixedly, as if it recognized the uprightness of that man. Nathan watched it in wonder, not knowing that one day that animal would be a key piece in divine plans. As the days passed, the hand of God became evident in Nathan's life. His crops always bore fruit, even when the soil seemed dry and weary. His animals remained strong and healthy, while those of the rest of the village grew sick or produced less. The villagers could not explain it. Everyone drank from the same well. Everyone planted in the same arid land. Everyone worked under the same blazing sun. Yet only in Nathan's plot did life bloom with abundance. What they did not understand was that the difference was not in the land or in the water. It was in faith. One morning, Nathan went to the village well to collect water. The sun was barely rising on the horizon, and there was already a long line of men and women with their jars and buckets. Voices mingled with the creak of ropes and the echo of water striking the containers. When Nathan approached, some looked at him from the side, and the mockery began. "Look at him," one said between laughs. "Here comes the one who thinks his prayers make plants grow." "Yes," another added, lifting his bucket. "We work hard, and he thinks that just by bending his knees, rain will fall on him. I say one day he'll get tired of talking to the sky, and he'll see that everything depends on our hands." Nathan listened in silence, without flinching. When it was his turn, he tied the rope to the bucket and let it descend into the well. The echo of the water brought peace to his heart. As he pulled the full bucket up, before pouring it into his jar, he closed his eyes and said in a calm voice, "Thank you, Almighty God, for this gift so simple and so great. May water never be lacking in my home or in my village, because you are the one who satisfies the thirst of man and gives life to the earth." Some burst into laughter. "Do you see him?" one exclaimed, laughing. "He even thanks the well water." "As if the stones could hear his words," another added. "Nathan," one shouted, "what's the point of thanking for what's there for everyone? You don't need faith to drink water. You just need strong hands to pull it up." The murmuring at the well stopped for a moment. Nathan held his jar in his hands and continued with a firm, calm voice. "Do you not see that everything we enjoy, the sun that warms us, the rain that makes the earth fruitful, and the air we breathe, is not the work of our hands? If we learned to give thanks even for the small things, the heart would find rest, because better is a handful with peace than both hands full with toil and striving of spirit." Some lowered their eyes uneasily, but soon the mockery returned. "There he goes, always with his sayings," one snorted. "The water is here because our fathers dug this well, not because someone above gave it to us." "Yes," another added, "if it depended on praying, this bucket would be empty." "Leave him," another laughed. "Nathan will never change. He'd rather talk about gratitude and kneel before God than enjoy life like we do." Nathan kept silent. There was no anger on his face, only a serenity that disarmed and at the same time unsettled. With a calm step, he carried his jar away while thinking deep in his heart, "The heart of man can harden like stone, but the truth always remains. This village will understand one day that God is real, and I have faith that it will be so." That afternoon, as the sun set behind the dunes, Nathan walked toward the outskirts of the village. It was already getting dark. In his heart weighed the villagers' words, harsher than sand embraced by heat. "How blind they are," he thought. "Do they not see that the hand that holds their lives is not the well, but the God who made it spring up in the middle of the desert?" There, in the middle of the dryness, stood the green tree, majestic like a solitary miracle. That was his secret place, his hidden altar. Nathan knelt beneath its shade, pressed his forehead to the ground, and with a broken voice began to pour out his soul. "O Most High God, today I saw the hardness of my people's hearts. I saw the mockery and the contempt toward you, but I do not ask you to destroy them. I beg you to enlighten them. Have mercy, for they do not know what they are doing. I know you are the one who sustains this well. You are the one who gives life to the desert and fruit to the dry land. I exalt you because you are just, because you give and you take, according to your will, because nothing escapes your hand. His words flowed like a river in the middle of the night's silence. Lord, if I have found favor before you, do not remove your favor from this village, even if they mock me, even if they harden their hearts. Give this village a new heart. Teach them to give thanks so they will not be lost in their own foolishness. In that moment, a gentle wind swept through the desert, moving the branches of the tree as if they were responding to the man's cry. Nathan lifted his eyes, and suddenly a light wrapped around him. Before him stood a radiant being, majestic, with a face that shone with peace and fear at the same time. Nathan backed away trembling, but the angel raised his hand and said with a voice both powerful and gentle, "Do not be afraid, Nathan. Your prayers have risen like incense before the throne of God. He has heard every word, every tear, every cry for your village." Nathan fell to his knees with his face to the ground and could barely whisper, "Who am I, Lord, that you would send your messenger to speak to me?" The angel replied, "You are a faithful man in the midst of a hardened people. Because of your faith, the Most High will sustain your house and will use your life as a sign for your village. A trial will come upon this place, a drought that will test everyone. Many will complain, but you, Nathan, will remain standing, because the Eternal One is your strength." The radiance illuminated everything around, and Nathan, with his heart shaken, understood that this visitation was not only a warning, it was also a confirmation. God was with him. The next day, Nathan took his jars and went to the well. There, as always, he found the villagers with their buckets. As soon as they saw him, the mockery began. "Here comes the one who talks to the sky," some said. Nathan remained silent while he collected the water. Then he lifted his gaze and in a firm voice said, "Last night a messenger of the Most High came to me. He spoke of a trial that will come upon this village, a great drought. It will not be for destruction, but to test our hearts." A murmur ran through the people, but soon they burst into laughter. "Listen to him," one shouted. "Now angels visit him too." "Drought," another answered with contempt. "Stop talking nonsense, Nathan. As long as the well keeps giving water, there's nothing to fear." Nathan, without losing his composure, added calmly, "Water does not sustain life by itself. It is the hand of God that gives it. Trust in Him, fear Him, and obey His voice. Do not harden your heart any further." But the laughter rose again over the stones of the well, and Nathan, in silence, returned home with his jars full, and with faith even firmer within him. Days passed, and the drought arrived. The sun became more merciless. The sky remained shut, and not a single cloud brought relief to the desert. The well, the source of life for the entire village, began to dry up little by little. At first, the water was no longer the same. The villagers went with their jars and returned worried. "Have you noticed? The well drops lower every day," they murmured. Fear grew and soon turned into anger. One morning, when Nathan approached with his bucket, some men pointed at him with rage. "It's your fault," one shouted. "You spoke about this drought, and now you brought it upon us." "Yes," another added. "You're always saying you hear voices from heaven, and look what you've caused." Nathan, calm, bent down to collect what water remained. lifted his face and said quietly, "The well does not dry up because of my words, but because the Most High allows it. He tests hearts to see whom they trust. Do not harden yours any further. Give thanks for every drop and turn your eyes to God." But instead of listening, the village walked away, murmuring with hearts even more hardened. One morning, the village could take no more. They went to Nathan's house with faces full of anger and desperation. "Nathan," they shouted, "thirst and hunger are consuming us. Our crops are drying up. Our animals are dying, and yet yours remain. This is your fault." Some added through tears, "Give us, even if only a little of your grain, or we will perish." Nathan looked at them with compassion. Without arguing, he distributed grain from his crops, ensuring each family a portion to survive. The village took the food, but still they murmured with hardness in their hearts. That same afternoon, Nathan went to his secret place under the green tree. There he knelt, raised his hands, and prayed with tears. "Lord, thank you because you have sustained my house in the midst of this drought. But I beg you for my village. Do not abandon them in their unbelief. Have mercy on them, just as you have had mercy on me." Suddenly, a light descended over the tree, and the angel appeared again. His voice resounded like a strong wind. "Nathan, your prayers are heard, but this village is hard of heart and still has not learned to trust God. Remain faithful, for the Most High will use what they despise to show them His power." Nathan, still bowed beneath the tree, lifted his trembling voice. "Lord, and how will it happen? Will there be a sign so that my village believes?" The angel looked at him with solemnity and replied, "Nathan, you have seen that 3 times a year an elephant passes by this place. He is not just any creature. He is wise and knows the secrets of the desert. He knows where there are springs and green land. When you come back to pray here, that elephant will fall into an ancient pit, and you will hear his cries. Go help him, and when you find him, he will speak to you with the voice of a man. He will tell you, 'If you save my life, I will reward you.' Then you will go to the village and bring them to the elephant, and together they will pull him out of the pit." The next day, the well dried up completely. The crops withered, and the animals began to die under the burning sun. The desperate people ran to Nathan's house. Some accused him with anger. "This is your fault. You have given us false hope." But Nathan, calm, lifted his voice. "Brothers, trust. The eternal God has not forgotten us. Salvation is closer than you imagine." Among the crowd, a man felt his heart break. He stepped forward and said, "Enough. This man has shown faith. It is time to believe before it gets worse." His words opened the eyes of many. "Then let us mourn before the Eternal One, because soon salvation will come." And so they did. The entire village fell to their knees, praying and crying out to heaven. Nathan distributed grain wisely to each one, making sure no one was left without food, while faith was reborn in their hearts. That same day, when the sun began to sink on the horizon, Nathan went to his secret place in the desert, under the green tree where he always poured out his soul in prayer. As he prepared to kneel, he saw in the distance the imposing elephant crossing the sand in majesty. Nathan remembered the angel's words, "The third time, the sign will come." The giant took a few more steps, and suddenly a crash shook the earth. Nathan ran, and when he arrived, he discovered that the elephant had fallen into an ancient pit, deep and narrow. His cries were so loud they made the air tremble. Then the unbelievable happened. The animal opened its mouth and, with a human voice, cried out, "Oh man, have mercy on me! I am trapped, and if you save my life, I will reward you." Nathan, surprised but steady, answered, "It is not I who saves, but the eternal God. Yet I will go and seek my village, and together we will help you." He ran to the village and gathered everyone. Though many doubted, the urgency of his words moved them. "Come, there is an animal trapped, and God wants to show us something through him." With ropes, poles, and effort, the villagers worked for hours. The men pulled, the women encouraged, and even the children joined with small hands full of dirt. Finally, the elephant came out of the pit, and as he stood up, he lifted his trunk toward the sky in a sign of victory. The village, panting from exhaustion, murmured, "And now what, Nathan? We have saved this animal, but we are still without water." Then Nathan, in a firm and clear voice, spoke to them. "People, do you not see? This is the sign the Most High gave us. We are not abandoned. Every man will gather his family. We will take the grain, the animals, and the water I had stored, and we will follow this elephant, because God has placed in him the path to life." Some still distrusted, but one of the elders stepped forward and exclaimed, "Enough doubting. If Nathan speaks with such faith, it is because the Eternal One is with him. Let us follow him." The murmuring turned into decision. The men went to gather their families, carried what little they had left, and prepared to march. Nathan was the last to close his house, giving even his last reserves to the village. And so, as night fell, the entire village began to walk behind the elephant, but with renewed hope that the God of Nathan would guide them to salvation. The village walked for several days, following the elephant as he moved majestically, marking the route. The families, tired and with little water, followed in silence. But one dawn, when the sun burned over the sand, the elephant disappeared from their sight. The desert sand had erased his tracks, and despair began to take hold of everyone. "Nathan," some shouted, "the elephant is gone. What will we do now?" "There is no water left," others cried. "We will die here." The murmuring turned into complaints and tears. But Nathan, tired as well, stood up in the middle of the camp and lifted his voice firmly. "Do not lose faith. The one who brought us here will not let us perish." The village fell silent. Then Nathan, with determined steps, climbed a small nearby hill. His feet were heavy, but his heart burned with trust. And when he reached the top, his eyes opened in amazement. Before him stretched an immense valley, covered with fruit trees, green savannas, and a river that flowed abundantly like a mirror of life. Nathan fell to his knees with tears in his eyes and shouted with all his strength, "Look, people, we have arrived." One by one, the villagers climbed the hill. When they saw the valley, their complaints turned into shouts of joy, and with one voice they glorified the eternal God. That day, the village recognized that there was no other God besides the Most High. They understood that because of Nathan's faith and reverence, they had not perished, and so Nathan and the village settled in that valley and prospered. And from that day on, the village feared and honored the Most High, proving that faith in God opens roads where there are none, and that even in the driest desert, He can raise up a river of life. Friend, thank you for making it to the end. If you liked it, hit like, share, and subscribe. And don't forget to click the stories on your screen, because more stories are coming that God is using to transform lives, and you can't miss them.